From the book of Rumi, 105 Stories and Fables. Intelligence. A young man was in trouble. He faced a dire problem that was consuming his life, making him miserable company for everyone he knew. Hard as he tried, he couldn't figure out how to free himself from the web that he had, through his own behavior, spun and entangled himself in. He took endless walks and spent hours on end in different tea shops and coffee houses, engaging with strangers, seeking advice. Despite his efforts, however, his problem seemed unsolvable. One day, he entered a particular coffee house for the first time and saw an older man sitting quietly in a corner. He recognized him immediately but didn't approach him right away. Instead, he sat at a table where he could keep the man's profile in view. He studied the older man with interest, remembering him as highly intelligent and a fair judge of character. After a few long minutes, he mustered his courage and walked over to the man's table, asking if he could sit down for just a minute. The man looked up from his book but did not seem very pleased at this interruption. He nevertheless nodded, and the young man quickly sat down and immediately posed his query. The older man was taken aback at the younger one's candor and shook his head thoughtfully. "My good man, you must seek the advice of someone else, someone who's your friend. I'm your staunch enemy and will only misguide you. Why would you want my advice? You need a compassionate ear, one who only wants the best for you. You can be certain that you've no need for any words of advice I may have," he suggested honestly. "If you were sitting in the midst of fire but had a friend with you, you'd think you were in a rose garden. And if you were in the middle of the most heavenly garden but were in the company of enemies, you'd feel like you were at the epicenter of a bonfire. So go on and find a counselor who's your true friend." The older man had spoken his truth, hoping that his advice had not fallen on deaf ears and that he would be left alone in peace now. "I am well aware of your feelings toward me, sir," admitted the younger man. "But I'm also aware that you're a highly intelligent person and would never commit a wrong deed. You would, therefore, never advise another person to do so either. That's why I trust your judgment far above my own or any friend's."